I was a junior in high school back in the 90s, and a drama team came to a church close to our area that was led by some Trinity students. They put on a drama, and I saw them on stage and just knew that that's what I wanted to do. So that's how I heard about Trinity, and that's what got me here, was their drama program. I originally came just to be a business professor. I mean, I knew that they were looking for one, and so that's what I came here to do. And I'm an alumni, so I went to school here, and that passion for traveling, that passion for ministry, I just couldn't help but get involved in that aspect. And we had a new president come in and asked me if there was an interest in helping students do student ministries, and I said sure. So they gave me 2 full-time jobs, working as the student ministries director and teaching business. My job is business professor, but my passion and my heart is student ministries. The mission, the passion, the heartbeat of Trinity, I think has changed over the years. You know, where at one time we were primarily a kind of a rural institution that focused on the rural community. I don't know, I see it much more being world changers. I mean, going out and impacting beyond our kind of geographic border. I know, like when I left Trinity, I went to Texas and then Florida and just was immersed in a variety of different cultures, and I just really think that, you know, that's what Trinity, that's the future of Trinity, is getting beyond where we are and where we think we can be, and letting God do some amazing, incredible things in our lives. I know that we have a lot of students that are missionaries that, I mean, just graduated last year, and I look at the number of people that have that missions heart, that are, you know, typically you go on and you work in a church for a few years, and then you kind of work your way up to traveling and going overseas. We have a lot of students that just jumped right in, that said, you know, I'm not interested in, you know, kind of using a church as a stepping stone, but stepping out into the world, and they're impacting people. I mean, we've got a student in Kenya right now, and students that I went to college with in Ireland, and some in South America. I've got a classmate that's in South Africa. Just a lot of, they're just all over the world doing lots of cool different things. Trinity uses, has an emphasis in evangelism, and it's like that emphasis is, I think, experienced in a variety of different ways. One is just real practical, hands-on, going out and doing ministry, going into churches, going into prisons, going into teen challenge centers. You know, we encourage every student to kind of live out what we preach and what we teach and what we do. That if you just sit and feed, that you become fat and slobbish. But if you get out and work your theology and work your mission, that you can do great things. So I think there's the practical aspect, but there's more than just a practical aspect. I mean, we're not just a leadership school or a master's commission that focuses on primarily practical stuff. There's a lot of theology behind why we do the things that we do. You know, understanding what a servant is and why we do what we do. It's not just about doing ministry, but about, you know, loving people and loving God through that. In terms of discipleship, I think that Trinity is a unique place. I get to know all of my students. I know their names, I know what they're going through, I know their struggles. We will sit and pray with each other, cry with each other. I have students over to my house regularly for fellowship times. I cook them dinner, do those things that just kind of, you know, these kids are away from home for the first time, and they're kind of branching out on their own, and there's a lot of interaction that we have with our students here. That's probably one of the most favorite things about this job, is just that we have the ability to go out and touch their lives in greater ways because we get to know them. I was at National Fine Arts Festival this last year in Louisville, and I was talking to students, and they were talking about various things, and one of the things that kept coming up over and over again was, I get to know the students so well that when a church calls, like immediately 3 and 4 and 5 names pop into my head of, I know who would be perfect for your place. Because I know my students, I know my kids. And really, they are all my kids. There are lots of ways for people to get involved supporting the mission of Trinity. The obvious one is financial. There's always a financial strain at a small private Bible college. Giving money is important. Prayer is important. Those are things that we always talk about. Some things we don't think about, though, is opening up your church for ministry opportunities, for internship opportunities. Again, it doesn't do any good for students to come and just learn the theology. They need to get out and do the practical. And without your churches and without churches out there willing to open their doors, there is no opportunity for practical ministry. I love what I do. I do what I do because I love it. I teach business, and I tell all my students that I'm at a point in my life where I don't do something unless I like it, unless I love it and am passionate about it. And I hope that that's reflected in what I do. I think it is. I love what I do. I love working with students. I love teaching. I love entertaining. I love being on the stage. Those are things that I just love to do. And so what keeps me going every morning, getting up every morning and working 50 and 60 and 70 hours a week is that I love what I do. We have great staff. We've got some professors that were here when I was here in the 90s, still going strong, still teaching, that are deeply passionate, and I think we got good staff. My wife is the financial aid director, so I love the staff. They're great. They're great people. But beyond that, you know that you're here at Trinity because God put you here at Trinity, and really there's no other reason. You come to TBC because you love TBC and you love its mission. When Dr. Alexander came, he kind of opened the door and said, anyone that wants to leave, there it is. You're not bound here, you're not tied here by contracts. You sign a contract when you come, and he said, I want to get rid of all of that. I want you to be here because you love to be here. And I think we had only one that left, and he was planning on leaving anyway. He had already signed up to leave. So the fact that everybody stuck around and said, you know what, let's do this. Let's take back and kind of move back into where we should be.